The Very Serious Crafts podcast is on Patreon. Visit patreon.com/seriouscrafts to support our podcast, find out about our Patreon half-stitched episodes, and more.
Hello, and welcome to Season 4, Episode 18 of the Very Serious Crafts podcast. I'm Molly from Wild Olive.
I'm Katie Greenbean.
How are you? And I'm Haley from Red Handled Scissors and the Bones and Bodies podcast. And today we will be talking about the many and varied incarnations of lettering within the crafting world.
Yes, I like that. That was a good...
Oh my goodness, Jack is howling behind me. So, momentary kitten interference.
I can't hear it from here.
Yeah, I can't hear it. I'm sad that I can't hear it, to be honest.
Me too.
Yeah.
Me too.
It was like a nice cat appearance.
I expect that Jack may remedy that momentarily. But, yeah, so, hello, friends.
Hello. I'm just breathing as we head into this new episode.
Yes, I feel like this one is gonna contain some tales of woe.
I'm gonna yell.
Yeah, that's right. What did you say about this? I hate it.
I don't remember if I said feelings or opinions.
Mm-hmm.
I suspect you have both.
I hate it!
All right.
Yes. I think that counts as both a feeling and an opinion. Yes. Mm-hmm. What Katie said.
Yes.
All right.
But before we jump into
all the
talking
why.
about things we have feelings about, we want to give a shout out to our serious friends of the Very Serious Crafts podcast who are supporting us at patreon.com/seriouscrafts. Thanks to you all. You are the best.
Yes. We love hearing all of your I mean, like you're like the core team here, and we appreciate all of that you bring to the party. Yeah.
It's true. And Jack just ran by. And you talk to us on the internet, which is delightful.
Mm-hmm. All right. So, lettering.
I hate it.
Lettering.
Yeah.
Lettering.
Shall we start by defining what all we're actually talking about, like what we mean when we say this? Does that help or not?
Probably.
I don't know.
Well, it can mean so many different things. I mean, obviously, it is the application of letters and or words to something.
Yes.
Yeah. By way of some technique.
Uh-huh. And I assume that we are open to a variety of techniques in this discussion.
But I suspect that all of them are awful.
Well, I'm about to find out because, as I believe I mentioned at the beginning of our previous episode, I have just acquired what I think will be a relaxing hobby because I don't intend to do anything with it. And Katie has thoughts that indicate otherwise for my future.
Yes.
But I got a beginner hand lettering, like, package pens, markers, whatever. And also a modern calligraphy notebook. It's spiral bound, and it just has instructions and a bunch of letters for me to trace. And I feel like I'm going to really enjoy, I don't want to do anything with calligraphy. I don't want to write anything beautifully anywhere. But I feel like just making very specific movements over outlines of very specific movements will be soothing.
Well, I think this is the point about lettering, is that if you can make those very specific movements, like with a pen on a piece of paper, then it's fine. But if you have to use some kind of tool like a needle and thread, or knitting needles and yarn, or a paintbrush...
Oh, but that's easy. I can do that.
No.
No. I mean, that I have designed entire alphabets that go together and are just fine. I just like my handwriting used to be really nice before before most of writing was done on a computer.
Sure.
Like, I simply do not have those motor skills in, like, at the ready. That muscle memory just isn't... Oh, hi, Mr. Big Stuff. That muscle memory just isn't there in the way that it was when I was younger, when things were still written on paper, like assignments and stuff.
Right.
So, I don't know, I feel like there's something so imprecise about handwriting that doesn't exist if you are, like, I don't think most people freehand embroidered writing, right?
No, I don't think so.
Like, it's usually that you have written or traced or something.
Yes. I always feel like the results when I'm doing it, whether it's embroidering it or even trying to like take something from what seemed like it was like nice writing on paper or or whatever, or something that I could normally write, but like I take like a drawing tablet out and I go to like write it on there. I always feel like
that
any of
is
those,
the
like,
worst.
I feel like the result is always wobbly. That's the word I would use to describe it.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's some hesitation there that is, like, I absolutely, though, as we have previously discussed, I immediately design everything digitally.
Mm-hmm.
I am deeply terrible at writing on a tablet.
I think everyone is, right? It's just
utterly bad.
Not a thing.
Yeah, and we're not talking about you go to a store and they ask you to sign your name on the or the UPS person asks you to sign the little
I'm
thing.
bad at that.
That's
too.
ridiculous. That's like a whole different thing. And yet somehow
I just squiggle and dot an I and add an X to the end. It's fine.
There you go. Yeah.
But yeah, it is. I recently, for a design, had to add cursive writing to, like, on top of a cross-stitch project.
Okay.
Because there was a sign in that design that was in cursive.
Mm-hmm.
And I know how to write cursive. I grew up at a time when we were required to write, not print.
Mm-hmm.
And so, like, that skill exists. I can do it. Like, I'm not going to make a pretty, like, entire written letter, but I can do a word. Let me tell you, I cannot do a word on a tablet. It's just not possible. It took me, like, at least 30 tries. And I'm not exaggerating. Like, to at least 30 tries to get it to a point where then I could adjust it within.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Oh, it was not pretty. And it showed up several times in the projects that I was working on. And I copied and pasted that thing and resized it because nope.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
And I still never figured out how I was going to transfer it on top of the cross stitch. But then the project that I was working on got canceled, so it ceased to matter. But
of course, after you did it that many times.
But I never did figure out how I was going to incorporate it into that final.
Yeah.
Oh. Especially because it involves another alphabet that was cross-stitched.
Oh, boy. Mm-mm.
Do not recommend. Yeah, that's frustrating.
Yeah.
You do a lot of lettering, don't you, in your designs, Molly?
I do, and I always think it's a good idea until I go to do it.
I feel like we all do.
You know, I have, and so, like, more often, and sometimes, though, I feel like this is, like, a dirty little secret that I'm about to share here.
Ooh. I'm excited.
But I think it's totally legal. I'm not sure. I might be wrong. I might learn something new. No, but sometimes I will, like, if I'm going to create a pattern that I want to have lettering in it, I will. This is more for embroidery designs, I would say. I don't think this would work. I haven't tried it for cross stitch designs, but
I think I know what you're going to say, and I do it for cross stitch.
I will type out something in a font that I like, where it has kind of the right feel, and then I create my own outlined version of it, where it's not exactly the same. I'm sometimes going very loosely around it, but it just kind of gives me a certain, like, almost like the structure of the letter. Like, oh yeah.
Yeah, I do that too.
Oh yeah, now
like
I remember
the balance of the letter.
Yeah, like, oh,
because
this is what a K looks like.
You
Like, sometimes I feel like you're doing something and you suddenly are like, really? Is that what that's supposed to look like? Partly because letters have several variations too, right? Like, there's multiple ways.
Cursive Z.
Oh yeah. Yeah. But even like an A, there's multiple ways to write it. You know?
So many ways.
And
like different balancing of the top and the bottom of letters and serifs, and
again, you know, I went to design school, so I think I had multiple typography classes that I took. So I'm very familiar with the structure of it. Yeah, I really enjoyed that. But also, like, that was a really long time ago. And and there's just parts of it that I now look at and I'm just like, oh, I just don't want to make another letter.
Yeah, and I do that too. I don't think that I think most people who design do a not dissimilar thing. It's kind of like finding the aesthetic ideal of the shape of a cat.
Yeah.
And like basing a design off of the basic shapes that make up that aesthetic ideal. Nobody designs in a vacuum.
Well, it's impossible. Because
I mean, you need to have a reference. Yeah. And so I do it in cross stitch. I don't do it very often in embroidery because I design in cross stitch more often. But I do not think that it is a dirty little secret that will get you in trouble.
Wait a second. Okay. Now, let's talk about Katie's biggest hand-lettered project ever.
I think I know what it is.
I have absolutely no idea what you're talking about. Please enlighten me.
Perhaps like a 500-page book.
Oh,
that's what I was thinking of.
I forgot about that.
It's on my shelf.
So the thing is, there's not actually that many words in it. People would be surprised that all of the lettering that I did fitted on 40 pages.
Okay.
Really?
Okay.
Really.
Interesting.
My writing is very small. I had to actually digitally enlarge it for the book. It is larger than life. Um, but yeah, I guess the thing with lettering, like I said, with a pen and paper, is I have good control over that. And in addition, I didn't letter directly onto the artwork. I lettered on a separate sheet of paper and then smushed them together in Photoshop.
Yeah.
So you've got a safety net if you need to rewrite it and rewrite it and rewrite it 30 times until it looks right.
And that's really smart.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
I actually didn't think of that as a possibility. Like, I sort of assumed it was this big gamble, very high pressure situation every time. So I feel better knowing that.
But there are like crafting, lettering situations where you can't do that. And I'm thinking of things like the things that come to mind for me are things where you're working with some kind of squeezy wet something like cake icing. Trying to write words on a cake with that stuff is just horrible.
That's actually very true.
Yes.
If it falls out properly, great.
Yep.
If not, you are screwed.
Yeah,
But
and then
there's
also-
like an air bubble in there or something. You're like, it's going really
Right.
well. And then, but you have to
That
think about
is
the
the worst.
spacing as well. And it's just so stressful.
And also, like, there's kind of the, like, you have to get, with icing, you have to kind of get a certain amount of, like, letting it flow out of the tip and, like, dragging it, but laying it down. One time, someone came and found me. There was a church event happening, and they had gotten some plain cakes, and they didn't have letters on it, and they came and found me. Now, the thing is about to happen in, like, 20 minutes or whatever, and they're like, could you just write blah, 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 whatever it was on the top of the cake? Here, we've gotten you some of the pre-mixed icing packets that have that giant chunky tip on it. Could you just do this? I was terrified. I did something. I didn't think it looked great, but I did something.
I am upset just thinking about it.
This
I
is
was like,
very stressful.
I was like, if you had told me yesterday, I would have brought the proper supplies and I would have done this right. But now we're stuck
Yes,
with this. And it was
I
like
dig it.
orange or something. It was some like you cannot go back color. It's dyeing the icing underneath it. It was it was so
Oh, no.
And I was more nervous about it than they were. They were like, it looks great. And I was like, it's trash.
They just wanted it done.
Yeah, exactly.
And they didn't want to pay for it or plan ahead enough to have it
It was
done.
that. I think it was one of those, like, somebody had a brilliant idea at the last minute, and it was better to do something than nothing. But I wanted it to be nice, and that lettering wasn't very nice.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, it was clearly sufficient. And then it was consumed.
Exactly.
I imagine.
Yes, they sliced through that pretty quickly.
Yeah. That did I ever tell you, I'm sure that I have, about the theme party that Jeremy and I had involving a now disgraced rap star. And there was a cake that was in the shape of a Beretta, like the gun.
Oh,
and
I have not heard about this story.
Jeremy, who went to art school, thought that he was going to make a Beretta cake. And there are photos. He sure tried, but turns out drawing with frosting is much more difficult than you would think. And I will have you know that at this time, I was a vegan blogger, and I was making fancy cupcakes and things. So why that wasn't my job is unclear. I'm glad it wasn't my job, but like, yep. You definitely could not read that lettering. The kerning was awful. Then it got squished in at the end. It was like perfect little kid writing on a poster board.
I love it.
Yes.
Which also then kind of made me just suddenly, I don't know why that made me think of this, but speaking of lettering and doing things on the fly, like the chain stitch sewing machines that they use for embroidering names on
Yeah,
things.
that is so satisfying to see it done.
At Disney World,
I'm terrified.
Yeah, at Disney World, when you can go and get your mouse ears and they put your name on it and you can watch them do it.
Yeah, I never had the patience to wait for that.
Oh,
but
it's
I think
amazing.
I was too stressed out. I don't think that I think that there would have been something that wasn't perfect, and I would have stared at it for the next 20 years.
Well, that's just it. They're so good at it.
I mean, they've got to be if they're doing so many.
Yeah, but like
after the first day, you're probably an expert.
There's no hesitation too. I think that's the part that is the most amazing is they just embroider the hat.
I mean, I think there can't be hesitation in something like that. And I think that's actually a really good point. Like, the hesitation is what makes all of this hard.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's what makes the mess. It's what means I have to rewrite the same thing on a tablet 50 times.
Yeah.
It's that hesitation. If I just did the thing, like when I'm really busy and stressed out and then somebody's talking to me and then the cat needs food, I will just do a thing and it will be fine. It's when given the opportunity to overthink, I will take it.
Yes. Which I think happens even when you go to embroider something is you start by hand. I mean, you start going, well, but does this little line here look okay? Or should I have moved this stitch over a fraction of a millimeter? You know, it's like
that actually is the one area when I will sketch.
Yeah.
In writing letters for embroidery, I do not just dive in.
Katie,
I just saw I could only see one of Katie's hands, and it was just an explosion of jazz hands.
Yes. Yes.
But yeah, that is one of the few times when I will in fact sketch.
Yeah.
And not generally do it. Or I will trace the sketch on my tablet instead. Mm-hmm. Because I can write better by hand than I can write on a tablet.
Yeah.
Yes.
Definitely.
I think that is a universal truth.
Yeah.
I hope so.
Everyone.
I mean, okay, some people are just like, oh, it's fine. I'm going to write on it like paper. I have right here next to me in my hand the ends that are supposed to go on an Apple Pencil that make it just a little bit more, or give it just a little bit more friction so it's easier to write. I mean, maybe.
But then let's just say, like, I see these people on Instagram who are showing how they are hand lettering these patterns or doing the, calligraphy that way. And I'm just like, who are you? What is this superpower you have?
Yes, I think it is a superpower. It must be.
I'm just standing here scratching a cat. Don't mind me. No, don't eat that. Yeah, it is that. It's the confidence with the medium.
Yeah.
And I feel like it's the same thing with like that chain stitch machine.
Yeah.
Like once you have the ability to do it, then it probably just becomes a matter of muscle memory.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh, the third cat has just showed up.
You're having a cat party.
I am having a cat party. Biggie, where are you? Oh, he's behind my computer. I don't know what he's doing. If he unplugs me, I'm sorry. But yeah, I think I'm wondering, I kind of want to, oh, geez, both black cats up here. Oh, Biggie, no. And Phryne is right here. Franny,
You know, as we record these episodes, I'm often like thinking about how they're going to get edited, you know, because I think it's good to like anticipate certain things. But I'm having a really hard time thinking about losing any of the hijinks that are happening over there. It's so funny.
Listen, my cats, they are unpredictable menaces. It's a good thing they're cute.
They are cute.
Yes, but they are all within 10 feet of me at the moment.
Nice.
All right,
nice.
so
Okay.
before any of that happens again, I'm wondering if I have a thought. I have a thought for all of us.
Okay.
Uh-oh.
What if we write our names, like however we sign them, whatever, on our tablets every day until the next time we record and see if it actually becomes easy?
Whoa.
Because I want to know if, like, either I take medication that makes my hands tremor slightly. And so I'm wondering if that can be overcome with practice, or if that is actually a thing that is just how my hands are going to work. I just want to see if I can create a facility within this medium, even just a small part of it. I don't need to have to do anything else. But if I can figure out how to sign my name and have it look like I've signed my name, I think that would be interesting to try every day.
I like this experiment.
I'm up for this challenge.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I think we should do it and report back.
Okay. That sounds good. I would even...
Yeah, because it's a very low commitment.
Yes.
And it's just a moment of signing.
I would
Part
even
of me wants
venture-
to do it in icing.
No, because...
You know, I support you in whatever medium you
Here's
decide.
the only problem with that, is then you have to have icing available to practice with regularly.
Why is this a problem? You would also need to have
I
cake.
was going to say,
and
I don't...
This is not a problem.
It's not a problem.
That's why mug cakes exist.
I was just thinking if preparing it would prevent you from wanting to do it regularly. It's only
I feel like you can buy that gross squeezy icing in a tube.
Okay.
If you, I mean,
For this.
I'm not. I was going to say I'm not going to. I think I am going to. That's the area where I need to improve my skills more than
Okay.
using my tablet.
Okay. So then
All right.
choose your medium.
Choose your own adventure.
But please document the process, because
Okay.
I'm fairly confident that actually we will be able to include a fair amount of like a sampling of our progress by the time that the episode airs. We could have
Yeah, I feel like I'm going to make
we'll have something
a 1 second
yeah,
video of it.
we're gonna have to have some before and after or in between. I want show notes is all I'm saying. I expect show notes to
Casual
present
snaps.
to our listeners who have
At some point.
Homework.
Yeah, doesn't have to be
Exactly.
daily.
Yeah.
Very low pressure.
yeah, okay.
All right. Yeah, I'm just curious.
Yeah. That makes sense.
And I'm
though.
dragging you both along with me
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
into my curiosity rabbit hole.
I'm going with it.
Yeah. I think it sounds good. Sounds good.
Yes. I am excited.
All right.
And it also will allow me to procrastinate starting the other lettering that I don't have time to be doing right now, but seem to have brought into my life anyway.
That sounds accurate. Familiar. All of that.
Doesn't it? Mm-hmm.
Also, if you are listening and you have a lettering superpower, tell us about it.
Yeah, I want to know how you learned. Like, what that process was.
And
yeah.
I'm sure some people are just predisposed to be better at it. Like, I never found embroidery to be difficult, for example. And I know that some people do. Like, some people's fine motor skills are just predisposed towards certain movements. So I'm sure that there are people for whom calligraphy comes easily.
Yeah, but I also know that there are a lot of people who spend a lot of time doing just those repetitive brush strokes and pen strokes that you were talking about in that book that you have. So, yeah.
Yeah. And I feel like you'd have to practice, especially if you wanted to use it for anything.
Yeah.
Anyway.
All right.
I don't know, since I am not a fan of lettering, even though I have talked excitedly about lettering this entire time.
Well, on that beautifully hand-lettered note, I think we should wrap up the episode.
Oh, fine. I feel like I should write goodbye in the air.
There you go. That's actually a really good, that's a really important, cross-brain movement, is to do, air lettering in big movements.
Do you know that is how I remember names?
Oh.
When I meet a new person, I see their name written in cursive. I mentally picture writing their name, and then I can go back and read the piece of paper in my mind that I have written their name on, even if I can't remember their name.
That makes total sense. I
fully
cool. understand that.
Yep. Anyway, I think we should end it.
Yes, that's perfect.
All right. Bye, friends.
Bye.
Bye.